First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my stepmother at my wedding? I, 27 female, lost my mom on my first day of school. My dad remarried 3 years later to Jane. Jane could never have children of her own, so she, as well as my dad, thought that her marrying a man with a child so young would mean she would eventually become a mom. I admit that I have not allowed that to happen. Even at a young age, I did not want another mom, and so I put a wall between me and Jane because I never felt like there was a middle ground to make us happy. We have been through therapy, a bonding camp, which sucked by the way, and I would never recommend them, and a lot of serious conversations between the three of us. When I was 17, her efforts kind of ended because I invited my aunt, mom's sister, shopping for prom, and she was upset that it wasn't just for us. I got married 2 years ago. My fiancé's parents and my dad and stepmother were all giving speeches. Fiancé and I gave ours first. Fiancé talked about our future together and how he wished his brother had been there. He lost his brother 6 years ago. And then I talked about our future together and the sadness of hitting the milestone without my mom, but how much she would have loved my fiancé and would have been so proud to welcome him to the family. During my stepmother's speech, she went into a very heartfelt message about being a mom to me, etc. She talked about the joy I brought to her life and the fact she was proud to call me her daughter. It seems that it stuck out to everyone that I call her Jane during my speech when touching on her and my dad, and that I wasn't as loving toward her in mind that I was to my parents. Then back in October, when my wedding video was finally put up by the photography company, she told me I had humiliated her on my wedding day, and how it was a slap in the face for the video to be online for all the world to see. She told me that when I invited her to give a speech along with the other parents, that I had finally embraced her in a way I hadn't before. And to sit through my speech, where I didn't give her as much love as my dead mom when she had written her so lovingly, it made her want to run away and cry. I told her I was sorry to have made her feel that way, but she continued to bring it up. My dad then got involved, and he told me to fix things. I could always make a post to her next Mother's Day, giving her the love she deserves for everyone to see. It turned into a fight. Then at Christmas, when my mother-in-law posted what a beautiful speech it was and how she knew my mom would have been so proud of me, after that post was made, Jane told me I needed to apologize and to make amends for embarrassing her like that. I might normally do it just to save a fight, but I don't know where she thought we had gotten closer. I included her to be polite and respectful, and I have tried to be that more as I have gotten older. But I still don't feel anywhere close to the same as she does about me or how she wants me to feel about her. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She set herself up for embarrassment when she lied about the relationship she had with you. From your story, she knew well enough you did not see her as your mother, but she chose to write it anyway. The read I'm getting is that, by asking her if she wanted to do a speech, she took it was being treated as one of the parents, and thus I had accepted her as more. But if I hadn't asked her, they would have considered it cruel to snub her. So it looks like either way, I set to lose. Giving her that one kindness does not retroactively make your relationship one between a mother and daughter. Perhaps if her speech was about how you are beginning to accept her / relationship still growing, instead of an implication that you always saw her as mom. No a-holes here. I actually feel badly for her. Sounds like she really tried / wanted to be a good stepmom to you. It must have been very hard to live day in and day out with a stepkid who put up walls and never accepted or really liked her. And sounds like she was so excited when she thought about her asking to give a speech was a sign of your acceptance of her, which is actually kind of sad in itself. And she's just very hurt and has unleashed like 2 decades of feeling hurt. That said, you were a traumatized little girl, so I don't blame you. And your speeches were fine. I feel the exact same. Trying to establish a relationship with someone for 20 years and getting no reciprocation must be hard. She wanted to be a mom. I know this is where the whole thing comes from. She was unable to have children, and so when she married a widower with a young child, she thought it would be her chance. She could finally be a mom after years of wanting it, and I'm sure another kid would have loved that someone wanted to be their mom and consider them her kids. I wasn't that kid though. My dad was the man for her, but I was not the kid for her. And I don't really blame her for wanting it. But I will never be the person to give it to her, and I don't think she will ever be able to truly not want that mother / daughter relationship. Not a a-hole. I hate step-parents that think they can just replace kids' actual parents regardless of what the child wants. I'm sorry for your loss, OP. Your dad is the a-hole for letting another woman try to replace your mom. I understand it sucks not to be able to have children, but that doesn't give your stepmom the right to waltz in and try and make you play a perfect family and forget your mom. She's also major a-hole for complaining about you missing your dead mom at your wedding. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my husband and his family to suck it up when they complained about my daughter's wedding? I won't complicate this. I have a daughter, Kara, who is not my biological daughter, nor was she my legal daughter until she reached the age of 18 when she asked me to adopt her as an adult. I married my husband when she was 14 and together we have 2 children. Kara gets along okay with my husband, but admittedly, her upbringing means she was maybe not as able to bond with a father figure as she was with a mother figure, and her age was also a factor. Regardless, everyone gets along, and I think that is the best you expect when you have someone who went through as much as she did at a young age. Kara is engaged and came to me recently and told me she would like to walk with me down the aisle and do a dance with me while her fiancé dances with his mom. She told me she didn't know how to ask for that without hurting my husband. I told her he would understand and I would be honored to do it. I did not expect my husband and his parents to take offense. They believe she snubbed my husband and is making it seem like he's nothing. After listening to them complain about this for 10 minutes, I told them to suck it up and accept that she asked me, her mom, to do both of those parts of the wedding and that I was proud to do it. I dared them to tell me I was less deserving than my husband. My husband and his parents believe I wasn't very understanding and downright rude, according to my mother-in-law. Am I the a-hole? So to clarify for people because I was not clear, my husband is not her father. He is her stepfather through me. I was married before and she was my stepdaughter who I ended up with custody of, but never legally adopted as a minor because her biological mother was alive. She has trauma relating to father figures, 2 prior ones to be exact, so she has never really considered my husband as such. But their relationship has been good considering everything she has been through. I did adopt her when she turned 18. Not my husband, just me. Now for the top comments. Not an a-hole. You're doing everything right, and I think it's lovely that she wanted you to walk her down the aisle. It's a testament to your relationship with her. It seems clear to me why she wouldn't want him. He doesn't behave as a parent, so why would he stand in as her father? Not an a-hole. Congratulations. So excited for you. Of course you're not. It's her wedding. There's no snubbing. She wants you. Period. Kara is engaged and came to me recently and told me she would like to walk with me down the aisle and do a dance with me while her fiancé dances with his mom. Not an a-hole. This is beautiful. Good job, Mom. Not an a-hole. What a pity party. Call the ambulance. Lol. Reminds me of Lily from Modern Family. Not an a-hole. Info. Did you just adopt her or did you and your husband both adopt her? Not that it makes a difference. I'm just curious. Bottom line is, she can ask whomever she wants to walk her down the aisle. It's no one else's damn business. When it's their wedding, they can be in charge of it. Just me. Next story. Am I the a-hole for spending my dad's money on a trip with my aunt instead of stepmom? A light insight. I, 17 female, lost my mom this year, early April. My parents divorced when I was really young, but I've kept in touch over the years with my dad to ask for financial help with the schools, trips, etc. Other than that, he told both my mom and I not to keep in touch unless necessary. Ever since my mom's passing, I've been living with my dad. I don't know the details, but my mom and dad never had a friendly relationship, and I could tell my dad really didn't like her. But to me, she was my single working mom and I really miss her. My dad's new wife, my stepmom, is okay, but she acts a bit tense around me and tries too hard. I don't think she likes my mom either, since she tells me to stop when I talk about her. I feel like my dad is pushing for us to get close, but I don't see that happening since I barely know either of them well enough. Plus, I'll always only have one mom. Here's where the problem starts. Back when I used to live with my mom, she used to work tons of shifts, get barely any rest, and work her damn hardest for me. I wanted to surprise her with a surprise vacation or a small trip for her to relax, but we couldn't afford it, so I started asking my dad for money every few weeks, saying I needed it for extracurricular courses. When I finally had enough, my mom passed away and I started living with dad and stepwife. I still had the trip money left over, so I called in my aunt, mom's sister, to come with me for the trip. I don't know how, but my dad found out about the money I've collected and got really angry, but said he'd forgive me if I went on the trip with stepmom. Obviously, I didn't, and left with my aunt when he was away at work. My aunt and I had a blast on our small road trip, stayed at a motel, and basically just toured around in big wide open spaces. As a city child, I had a lot of fun in the countryside. When I came back, Dad was really mad and took away all my devices and grounded me, calling me an a-hole for not choosing to go with stepmom and using his money like a thief. I know what I did was lying about my courses and taking his money was wrong, but was it wrong of me to go with my aunt? She really reminds me of my mom, and I missed her so much. My dad, his wife, and extended family found out and are calling me a petty thief and a liar. My stepmom has started ignoring me in the house too, and everyone keeps telling me to apologize. But I don't see where I did wrong with going with my aunt who I feel closer to. Now for the top comments. Not a day haul. While the way you went about getting the money to finance the trip was not exactly kosher, you had every right to decide who to take with you. You chose to take someone you know and love, someone who is a close connection to your mother. The fact you aren't close with your father/stepmother is their own fault. He was the one who chose to only support you financially and not emotionally, so he has only himself to blame. Is there a way for you to get out of their house? Could you live with your aunt? They're emotionally abusing and isolating you because you didn't cower to their demands, and that is not okay. It could get worse. I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you. I want to get out too, but I don't think my dad will allow it. Plus, my aunt is struggling financially, so I don't want to be a burden on her. I plan to move out and become independent when I can, though. Not day haul because you are a kid and just lost your mother and have been forced to live with people who are practically strangers. I'm appalled the adults in your life are not giving you some grace for that fact. Listen, it was wrong to lie about the extracurricular stuff. I know that, you know that. But your heart was in the right place. And where else would you go for the money? And most importantly, you're a kid. A kid who wanted to help her mom. So was it a dumb choice? Yes, it was. Does it make you an a-hole? Not at all. Your dad, on the other hand, is a huge and massive a-hole. He clearly neglected you your whole life. Don't keep in touch unless necessary. What the hell is that? Even now that you're living with him, that does not make him some hero all of a sudden, since he's basically emotionally neglecting you now. You just lost your mom, and since you're living with him and not someone else, she was likely everything to you. And he is being extremely immature and selfish about this trip and the money. If he was a real parent, he'd understand and try to help you. And the stepmom is no better, ignoring you because you did not go on a trip with her? A grieving kid who just lost her mom. These people are so selfish and can't get their heads out of their own ass to act like a family. I know you're not asking for advice, but is there any way you can stay with your aunt? Everyone sucks here. Your dad sounds a little bit authoritarian, so good luck. But you shouldn't have lied about the reason why you need the money, and his reasoning probably is that he gave you money for a specific reason, and he can determine what that reason is now since you lied about it. He could have even told you to give the money back. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my girlfriend's daughter in my car or my son's? My girlfriend, Sally, and I live together with our teenage children, Dan and Grace. Both kids are 16, with about a month separating their ages. Dan is my biological child, and while Grace and I have a decent relationship and I love her, her father is definitely still in her life, so I can't say I've had a fatherly role. Sally and I split the cost of living by percentages as I make more, and though we've been together 5 years, we have no plans to wed or coming for finances. I hope that's enough backstory. If it's not, please ask for info, and I'll do my best to answer. This past year, both teens were due to get their license and take a big step forward in their lives. The issue came from my opinion being that Grace wasn't ready for that responsibility. I felt Grace would call her safety or other safety into question on the road. I only shared this with her mother in private at first. However, her mother asked that I share my concerns with everyone, so I did. It caused some headaches and accusations. However, I based it on Grace's daily life and not on a comparison to Dan. Grace is a smart child, but lacks an attention span, ignores her chores, and struggles in school. Yes, she's been tested for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and other things, and has been caught sneaking out at night. Ultimately, it didn't matter and Grace was able to get her license. Well, 3 weeks into having her license, Grace has totaled her mother's car by hitting a telephone pole while texting a friend. Grace is still bruised from it, but is otherwise healthy, and asking to use mine or my son's car, which I have shut down 100%. My ex and I bought my son his car, and while it's nothing fancy, it's his. I'm now being accused of playing favorites, being sexist, and rubbing my income into their faces due to Dan having his own car. It's escalated, and I've told Sally I don't feel comfortable with Grace driving as I think she's going to hurt someone or herself again. Am I the a-hole here? I understand getting your license is a big deal, but if you're not ready, you're not ready, right? I didn't compare the kids to one another. I'm just judging each for their actions. Where did I go wrong? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I think only one fact about Grace is relevant here. She totaled a car texting while driving. Yes, you saw it coming. Yes, she only had her license 3 weeks when it happened, but those facts are irrelevant. Anyone who loans a car to someone who just totaled a car by texting and driving is just asking to have their car totaled. It would be beyond idiotic to let her drive a car you're financially responsible for. Why would anyone, especially her parents, want her back out on the road? Do they want her to get hurt or kill someone? I literally don't understand how her actual parents just don't seem to give a damn about her health. Not the a-hole. Ask Sally how wanting her daughter alive is playing favorites or being sexist. Great response. Not the a-hole. She was texting and driving. She crashed. She shouldn't be allowed to drive until she buys her own car. It sounds simple enough to me. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe. Am I the a-hole for not letting my stepsister wear my wedding dress? I, 26 female, got married in 2016. My wedding dress was a dress my mom made for me when I was 11. She knew she was sick, and she was a dressmaker, and so I asked her to make me a dress for prom and my wedding for the future. They were basically the same dress, just one was pink and the other was white, but they mean the world to me. Both needed to be altered when I reached the point of wearing them, but luckily my grandma is also a dressmaker and she did it for me. My stepsister, 24 female, is now getting married and wants to wear my wedding dress to hers. She's my stepsister through my dad's marriage to his wife Liz, and they got married when I was 7. She didn't know my mom though, and they were nothing to each other. So for the sentimental part, and the part where she didn't even know my mom and couldn't share in that side of the sentimentality, I said no. I didn't want to give away my dress. Maybe if I have a daughter or a daughter-in-law I'm close to someday, I might offer it there or give it to them if they want it. But for now, I want to keep both and not share. My no has led to fallout though. My stepsister feels like I'm unfair, and it hurts that I don't consider her enough of a sister to share it with her, regardless of who made it. My dad is pissed, because this is the second time she wanted one of them. She wanted my prom dress as well, and he said I should have been willing to share one, since my stepsisters always looked up to me. Liz is pissed because I wouldn't let her fix my prom dress at the time. She offered with very little experience fitting dresses, and went to my grandma instead, and now I won't let her daughter wear the dress. They all say it's been 5 years now, and the wedding dress won't be worn again by me, which might not be true. My husband and I have talked about renewing our vows far in the future and wearing the same clothes. I've been called selfish, mean, a witch and other stuff, and there's a lot of upset over my decision. My stepsister is genuinely sad. She doesn't even care about the sentimentality. She just wanted it because I had worn it, and she always loved getting my hand-me-downs. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. The dress is your mom's legacy for you, and what a touching, beautiful gift. They should be just for you, unless you willingly want to share, or like you said, make them heirlooms for your future kids. Stepsister needs to stop trying to Jones your stuff. Tell her she must back off, and to just stop being a lazy leech and buy her own damn dresses. She clearly doesn't get that they are more than dresses to you. You don't owe her a thing. Also OP, because this is the top comment, make sure the dresses are both locked up somewhere safe where only you and your husband are able to access. While I have to hope they wouldn't, I've seen too many stories on here of step-siblings stealing/destroying important sentimental things. There are also posts where the leech refuses to give back a borrowed wedding dress because of the sentimental value. In the best case, the dress would be damaged by being cheaply fitted, with probable stains from the party. Not day haul. Sometimes being selfish is being selfish, but sometimes people call you selfish because you have boundaries. Tell your dad you are ashamed for him for his behavior. How it's insensitive of him to ask you to give away what your mom made for you, and you consider it to be a huge emotional subject which you want to keep to yourself as something between you and your mom. Just because he does not feel its significant value for you, does not mean he has the right to demand you share one. He should be ashamed. Excuse me? It's your wedding dress. Sentimental to you. Oh my god, my blood is boiling on your behalf, Opie. I can't even imagine sharing something sentimental to me with someone who won't understand it. Huge not day haul. My mom bought my wedding dress for me. After my wedding, she promised the dress to a coworker of hers and did not understand why I didn't want to give up my wedding dress to a stranger. So I told her that if it was so important, then my mom could just give her coworker her own wedding dress from the 70s. My mom stopped asking after that. My stepsister feels like I'm an affair and is hurt that I don't consider her enough of a sister to share it with her regardless if who made it. Not day haul 100%. There isn't a rule that says that sisters have to share their wedding dresses with each other. Everybody, but Opie, is encouraging stepsisters' bad behavior. Good for you for having a backbone. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for being surly, rude, and mean at a wedding and leaving early? I was asked to be a member of the wedding party. Despite this, I was the only person, not only in the wedding party but also at the ceremony, who wasn't allowed to have a +1. This was an outdoor wedding with unlimited seating, and these people don't give a crap about COVID, so it wasn't about that. I was told it was because my relationship wasn't serious enough despite us being together for a year, that only engaged or married couples were invited, and that they didn't want some random guy in their wedding pictures who I might not even be with later in the future. They don't want to have a look at some random guy in their pictures, even though he wouldn't have been in any of the post pictures at all. Maybe just in the background of crowd shots. There have been no conflicts between them and my boyfriend, and he's a nice and mild-mannered guy who gets along with everyone, so I don't think it was about him personally. So I get to the ceremony and find out that literally everyone else has a +1. Not just married couples, but there are couples there who have been dating for less time than me. This is when I started feeling surly. I smiled and played my part during the ceremony, but inside I was very surly and angry. We then got to the reception, which had way more people than the ceremony. This is where all the more distant friends were invited, and everyone there had a +1. I was literally placed at a table as the one single person, and everyone else at the table was a couple. Some at the table were other members of the wedding party, but others were random distant acquaintances. People started asking me where my boyfriend was, and I said I was told he wasn't invited. They asked why, and I said I had no idea why. This is when I started letting my surliness show and started acting rude and mean because I was humiliated. And then I was brought into conversation with the couple's male friend, Dean. I was previously told that Dean has a crush on me, and I made it clear I wouldn't be interested even if I was single. Even after that, he kept trying to message me and I ignored him. But now the people who brought me into conversation with Dean were like standing around staring at us and giggling behind their hands. Like they thought they were Cupid matchmakers. Dean was absolutely a participant in this. I was meaner to Dean than I've ever been to anyone in my entire life. I was as fully rude as I've ever wanted to be when being the target of someone's romantic interest unwantedly. It's true, I don't really know if I was being set up, but I was already furious before that happened. Everyone was silent and awkward. I went back and finished my meal, and as soon as I was done, picked up my purse and left and went straight to my boyfriend's house, skipping most of the reception, cake cutting, speeches, and everything. I'm now being told by the couple that they are hurt and confused why I left so early. I haven't replied. Wow. There are layers to this, like a freaking parfait made entirely of dog poop in different stages of decomposition, and it just kept getting worse. From the title, I thought you were the a-hole. Then it was like, okay, maybe it's everyone sucks here. Then it got to not the a-hole, and kept on trucking how the newlyweds and Dean are huge a-holes, and just kept on going. Honestly, you're absolutely not the a-hole, and in fact should be commended on not engaging in some fully warranted a-hole behavior of your own. Because I absolutely do not consider rudely rejecting Dean's advances to be a-hole behavior when he is complicit in the setup attempt from hell. I think at the very least, you would have been completely justified in not only leaving early, but taking your wedding gift with you because these people are not your friends. I'm still so angry about the entire thing. I wish I had told them to go screw themselves the minute they called my boyfriend some guy I might not even be with in the future. My relationship is one of the most important things in my life, and my boyfriend is precious to me. You need to cut them out immediately. They have already proven they don't care about your feelings by ignoring the fact you previously said you do not want to date this dude. If he contacts you again, get a restraining order because it's some next level diabolical manipulation and a GTFO of this environment ASAP. Which I would find absolutely hilarious, considering they didn't want some random guy in their photos when they look at them later in life, but now have to look back at photos with some random girl they're not friends with anymore. Lol. Not the a-hole. If you were seriously singled out like that as the only major exception by someone, either the wedding couple or anyone in the wedding party, I probably would have been angrier. Honestly, I was the most mad about how they disrespected my boyfriend and relationship, calling him some random guy and saying I might not be with him in the future. Like, what kind of way is that to talk about my relationship that's extremely important to me? Next story. Am I the a-hole for taking back a gift from a fake baby? I work at a popular clothing retailer, and I enjoy my job very much. My coworkers are great, customers are bearable, but one coworker, let's call her Rhonda, has been making my work life a living hell recently. We have worked together for a couple of years now and things were great. I would even say we were work friends. Then she invited me to her daughter's baby shower last month, and I agreed to go. What I didn't know was this was not a regular baby shower. I arrived with a gift and was talking to my other coworkers that were there, and we figured out none of us had met the daughter. Rhonda introduced her daughter to our little group, and I congratulated her and thanked her for having us. She laughed and said something like, "Thank you, but I'm not pregnant quite yet, but it's always good to be prepared for when the time comes." I was visibly confused, which seemed to offend her. After she walked away from our group, my coworker explained that Rhonda had told her when they arrived that this isn't a regular baby shower, and her daughter had been feeling down because quite a few of her friends had been pregnant. I asked the friends if they knew beforehand, but they said no, and that they were also confused why they were asked to buy gifts, but decided not to make a big deal about it. I asked Rhonda why she wouldn't tell us that it wasn't a baby shower for a specific baby, and she explained the physical invitations explained it was a party for her daughter to shower her with love. Well, none of us coworkers got physical invitations. I asked Rhonda if I could take back my gift since I am not made of money, and I would prefer to get her daughter a gift when she was actually having a baby. Rhonda said that would be rude to take a gift back after giving it, and that her daughter was going through a lot, and was looking forward to opening presents. I said I'm sorry, but I can't do this. I took my gift and left. The daughter sent me hateful messages over Facebook, including calling me a disrespectful old witch and a bad friend to Rhonda. I feel bad for storming off and taking back the gift if it was going to cost this much grief. Also, I realized I grabbed a gift that was on top of mine that was from my coworker, and she said she wants me to bring it back to her and not give it to Rhonda and her daughter. But Rhonda found out and is threatening to go to HR if I don't return the gifts and buy something else off the registry for the suffering of cost. Most of the items on the registry aren't even for babies. Am I an a-hole for taking back a gift because I was lied to? Edit. If anyone cares, I'll update after talking to HR Monday. Not the a-hole. And this shower is literally the tackiest, gift grabby, bad crap crazy thing I've ever heard of. And I've been in several of the more dramatic pregnancy/parenting forums for a long time. Edited to add, I would beat her to the punch with HR and tell them that your coworker is harassing you for gifts that you decided not to give once you realized they were demanded under false pretenses. I thought the grandma showers were the craziest, but this is completely new level. Not today, Hall. And I would go to HR first and tell them your coworker is harassing you about gifts for a fake baby shower and demanding you buy her daughter presents just for the heck of it and lying about her daughter having a baby. Rhonda's behavior's wackadoodle. All the coworkers, by the way, not just Opie. She approached multiple coworkers for a gift grab. Ed is now pissed that she took one back and is demanding another for suffering. Wow. Not today, Hall. Not today, Hall. Go to HR for the coworkers scamming other workers for gifts. This is truly the epitome of entitlement. Does that mean she'll buy a gift for you if you did the same thing? Not likely. Last story is titled, Would I be the a-hole if I don't follow the same trend for my wedding as some of my step-siblings? Long story short, my mom died when I was 8. My dad remarried when I was 10. His wife had kids prior, and then had kids together. Everyone else adjusted really well, but I struggled with the kind of relationships I wanted in the blended family. But in general, I get along well with everyone and never want to hurt feelings. I am very close to my maternal family, and they were still part of my life when my dad remarried. So here's the issue now. 3 of my step-siblings got married already, and all of them threw into the speech a point about how amazing our family is, and how they wouldn't trade any of us for anything. Along with how my dad is their dad in every sense of the word and not just a stepdad. Then after I would post a group photo captioned, "The fam's all here." They brought up to me alongside my dad that they expected the same things from me. Except it's not quite true. I would trade this blended family for my mom back. And I don't consider my stepmom my mom. I'm not even sure I can honestly say I love her. But I don't have any issue with her as a person. So I said I wasn't sure about the speech or the caption later, and they told me it will look strange if I don't. Especially when the others do the same stuff when they get married. And another stepbrother is engaged and planning to do it. I feel stuck, because the truth is this isn't my dream family. My dream family will always be with my mom. But I also know I'm already wearing a locket of hers on the day, and giving my grandparents a photo to hold off her on the day, so she's represented and present in some way. The photo will be on a chair for me to see, but not for everybody else. And I can't say my stepmom is my mom in every sense of the word, because she's not, and the whole fam won't be there for me. They are mad that I'm considering something different from them when it has become such a thing. I need to hear from others, from outsiders of this. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your whole family isn't there, thus making this a vastly different situation for you. Don't let anyone pressure you into doing anything you don't want to do. This is your wedding, not theirs. And why are they even concerned about how it looks and to whom? No one else matters on your wedding day besides you and your spouse. Thank you. I think I just don't want to hurt feelings or start a big drama. When the time comes, just say how pleased you are that your entire blended family is with you to celebrate your special day. I don't understand the stupid tradition they've invented where you have to follow their preset script. That's just nonsense. I think for them, it's the sentiment of declaring everyone almost like a chosen family as well as a family. That you were just so glad to be part of that and couldn't imagine different. And I get that it's true for them. But for me, there is a family I miss and wish I could be part of again. None of them will understand that totally. Not even my dad, really. He minds a bit more, but not totally, because he did choose this family. Not today, Hall. People do not get to dictate these things. You're absolutely not obligated to declare to everyone that you wouldn't trade the family for anything. Of course, you would prefer to have your mom. Do not give in. Imagine how hurtful it would be for your mother's family to see this, even though they know it isn't true. Ask your father, if he was the one who passed, how he would feel about you being forced to do this by a stepfather. Hold your ground on this one. It's worth it. I actually wondered if I should talk to him. Out of them all, he's kind of the one who would understand the most. But he also chose them in the way I didn't. Not that there's anything wrong with him doing so, it's just I'm not sure how understanding he would truly be, you know? You make a good point though.